Hi, this is Cheryl St.Pierre. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make these cute little cube drops that I used in my heart stud tutorial. And I was asked to show you how to make these. So I'm not making them with the studs today because they can be multi-purpose. The only difference you would need is the direction that you make your little loop on top. For the heart studs, you'd want it front and back, and for other ear wires, you'd probably need it going side to side. So that's the only difference. And so we're going to make side to side today to go with regular ear wires. So fish hook is the ones I'm using right now. So what you will need for supplies is your ruler, your snips, flush cutters, your chain nose pliers, and your round nose pliers. You will need, and I don't have it written anywhere, so you should probably write this down. I've got 5 inches, 2 pieces of 0.8 millimeter wire, which is 20 gauge wire, and I have little cubes. I think this is the smallest they make, the cubes crystals, but these are 6 millimeter, and I am using matching rondelles, which these are 4x3, I believe. I know they're 4 millimeter for sure, but I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure it's 3 millimeters the other way. Okay, and that's all you need. And this is relatively quick. So on your round nose pliers, I would like you to use, when you have your ear wires, you can test the size of loop it is. And we're going to be using about that size, and you want to be consistent with both of them because it will really show up on these earrings. So if you want to take a permanent marker and make a mark where you want to do the loops, then you can do all the loops made in this tutorial. Whoops, bumped my phone. Would be the same size. So go ahead and mark your pliers if you want to. So what I want you to do is take one of your 20 gauge pieces of wire and find the approximate middle. Now I've given you lots of wire. I actually like using less wire, but it's it gets tricky when you don't know which way that was going to be the top and which is going to be the bottom of where the bead's going to be. And it's, even my mind has a hard time with this, so it's just more comfortable to have extra wire. And so we'll be wasting a little bit, but it's not too bad. So make yourself, on both of them, a loop. And I'm just, okay, so that's a loop, but we want to make it a right angle. So I want to actually, and that loop's a little bit crooked, so I'm going to try and pull it straight. And then up to be a right angle like that. Okay, and do that to both of them, but if you do both of them, you're not going to be able to make the right and the left mirrored. So to mirror the second one, this is the normal one where you wrap it around, and I should have had you paying attention to it, but you could back it up the way I did it. Now this one is going to be the mirrored, and we're going to wrap this around, but we're going to have the wire come underneath instead of over top. And again, make it about a right angle. Okay, so now normally I would ask you to put a bead on first before we do the wrapping, but I find that the bead just either flies off, falls off, or something at first. But you can put the bead on and look to whereabouts the top is, just for guidance. But what I want us to do is whichever, okay, so I actually had the bead on the wrong side that time. Whatever is on the top, that's where you're not putting the bead. Okay, see, this is on top, like this. We're not putting the bead there. We're putting the bead here. So I had it reversed. I should have paid attention to that. Okay, and you want that wire to be straight. So if it's not, you could take your pliers where the bead's going to go and straighten it like that. Because none of this will be decorative wire. It's just going to be, yeah, don't worry about if it gets marred, because it's not going to matter. Okay, so I'm putting this bead on, seeing about where it is. Now, so it's about there. I'm going to, I don't want to bend this wire. So in order to do the swirl, I'm putting my pliers in there, and it went really tight. Okay, and then I'm hoping I'm in. Doesn't look like I'm in focus there. Okay, so I'm bending this like this to be about where the top of the bead is. So I'd rather you do not too much. Less is better, because we can always add more. And then we're going to do the same with the other. So this is where the bead isn't going to go, because it's the top wire. So we want the bead to go on this one, and we want it to be straight. Now I wish I would have moved over a little bit. That's going to be a little short. But again, I'm going to straighten that. And I'm going to flip this one over, not quite yet, just to compare the swirl. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. And I can flip this one over to see if they're similar in shape. Whichever's smaller, you would pull the other one a little bit tighter so they match. Fairly close anyways. I'm hoping you can, my washing machine's running in the background. I'm hoping you can't hear that. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And now we can put the bead on it, because we know that the curve, and you want to pick the nicest side of your cube. Now we want to cross the top corner and wrap a little bit around this to kind of lock the bead in place. It doesn't always lock in place, but we can try. Okay, so I'm holding that there, crossing the corner, if you can see, and that bead just flips around on you all the time. So I'm just gonna hold it like this, support it with my thumb, and I'm just gonna go like this, and I want to go, that's all I want to wrap. I don't want to twist it any more than that, because now I want to introduce the next bead. Okay, we're going to put the rondelle on now. Okay, and we want to try and mimic this angle as we wrap around it and lock that bead into place. And we're going to do the same thing here, and that looks pretty good. You want to make sure it's straight up and down. Sometimes it curves a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to wrap, so it looks like I've got 3 wraps. So this is a faux wrapped loop. So that's 1, and my wire's a bit shorter than I'd like. 2, and that's why I gave you extra wire. And I'm going to pull it with this because my fingers aren't strong enough to pull that short wire. And to the back. So we're going to snip it off at the back as close as possible. I'm just going to... So take your flush cutters, snip it, and then if you can, crimp it in there, like that. It doesn't always work that easily. Okay, so that one's done. And we need to do a minor adjustment, but I'm going to make the loop first. So we're going to, it's going on fishhook wire, so I want my loop to go side to side instead of front to back. So I'm going to support the wrapping like this because I don't want to bend this. And now I'm going to just push this over. So it looks like that. And now I'm going to make the same. So if you did mark your pliers, the same size of loop, wrap it around like as neat as you can and as centered as you can, and then snip it like that so that you have a loop, and then you can straighten it, close your loop as best you can. And I'm going to actually use my round nose pliers to do that because I didn't want to ruin the circle. Okay, so there's that. And now what I was going to say for adjustments is we want these 2 angles to be the same. And I've noticed my bead just did a flip. Oh, I'll have to push it this way. Oh, it didn't. Okay. So I'm going to just move that. I just twisted this so it would have a more similar angle. And that way it's more pleasing to the eye. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other earring. Gotta pick your favorite side. You want them to kind of match. That one's really purple, so it wouldn't match. None of them match 100%, so I am going to go with the purple one. Okay. Oh, there's my washing machine. Okay, so I'm going to go over the corner like before, but on the opposite side. And like that. That's all you want to do. Now I'm going to put the other bead on. And try and wrap it with the same angle. And then I want to wrap 3 wraps. 1, 2, 3, and they're not as close as I want, so I'm going to fix that by compressing them as best I can anyways. I'm going to push it down. Hopefully I don't bend the earring. Okay. Oh, I need to do half. Okay, I think I've got that. And I did bend it a bit. So I need to straighten that. Okay, I'm just going to compare. Hopefully they look, well, one looks smaller than the other, so I wasn't as accurate as I thought I'd be. So maybe before we finish the next step, and this is what happens to me quite regularly, is I end up having to make a third one. And you know what? I could make 2 pairs out of it. So I'm going to get everything ready to make another one and go make another one. And I'm sure this will happen to everyone. Just about every time that's what happened to me with this one too. So it's just going to be practicing and trying to get the same size of curl. And it's not hard, but it just, it's just like the fancy swirl pearl earrings. They do the same thing. It's trying to get them the same size. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back and I've gotten it to this point. Now, I just thought of something. You know how I was having a short side? We want the bead on the short side. So if the bead is meant to go on, let's say I had it like this. There's the long side for the bead. Just flip it over. And now the bead can go on this one. And I don't know why I didn't think of saying that before. But anyways, I wanted to say that now. And I'm going to try and match up the curve as best possible. Whoops. To this one. Okay, so it's a little bit more snug. Push it down. Okay, just check that out. See, that looks better. I'm even going to give it a little bit more flare. I think you just got to pay attention to comparisons a little bit more than I was. I was trying to breeze through this. Okay. Now you're giving me grief. Like I said, it's a simple enough design, but it gives you, it does give you the challenges for sure. Now, is it closing up? That's probably what happened to me before, is as I was fighting with the bead, it cinched up there. Okay. So it's good that you see that I'm having these challenges too. I like to be honest in my videos. You probably noticed that. If something's challenging, I try to show you how so that you can deal with it too. Okay. The bead keeps moving on me. Okay. Bead in place. You know, I'm just gonna straighten this a little bit more. I think I keep bending it. Okay, and then I'll hold it this way. Gotta make sure I have it on the right side. Although you can flip it. There it is. That's the side I want. Okay, over the corner. And now I'm just going to do the comparison again. Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to put the bead on. Try and get the same angle. Okay, it's not, so I'm just, right now is a good time to fix that. I'm going to push this down. Okay, 3 wraps. Oh, and it moved on me again. Well, then the adjustments need to be done later, definitely. Okay, cinch it up. Adjust this wire again. I think we've got it. And I'm going to just compare the two. And now with all that comparing, there we go. I just had to twist that a little bit. Yes, happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to snip this off at the back, crimp it in, hold the coil, do the side-to-side band, make the loop. And snip. There, it's done. Okay, so I think I'm ready to put the ear wires on. I love purple crystals with copper because when the copper turns dark, like these ear wires are dark, it just looks so good with the purple. It has a more earthy look. It's got a bit of sparkle, but it doesn't have the overkill look. Like, they're great casual everyday earrings. And there they are. And they look great on fish hooks as they do on the heart studs. The heart studs definitely add more, but more pizzazz. But you know what? Not everybody can wear studs, which I'm one of those people, and that's why I don't make very many studs. My ears, because of my Hashimoto's, need to have the oxygen, is what I'm guessing, because as soon as I wear studs, my ears are infected. Even if it's gold studs, silver studs, doesn't matter what it is. If it's studs, my ears get infected within a couple hours. And, which sounds crazy, but that's what happens. So that's why I always make fish hook earrings. You probably noticed that. It's just one of my things. Okay, well, thank you for joining me in this video. God bless, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.